Okay guys, I've got some good news. The chamber reamer with the 40 thousandths free bore is going to be perfect for this 69 grain bullet where I have it seated. So what I did is I just chambered the barrel about, I don't know, I come up on the end of the neck here. So I went in, I cut the neck and I cut the shoulder. So we just went up in the barrel this far. So from the neck to the shoulder, we're looking at about 3/8 of an inch. I was able to then stick this dummy round up into the started chamber, and I turned the bullet, twisted this cartridge, and you can see on here where it made a mark on the copper. That's perfect. I just barely touching the lands. So we're going to go with that. I'm not going to need the throating reamer at all. And if I do need it down the road, we can always go back in and throat it. But we can't put the metal back in once we take it out. So we're going to just do the chamber reamer. And that's going to be easy. So let's get this job done tonight. Okay guys, I'm going to try to show you this the best I can with the equipment that I have to work with. Now I've got a great big tripod for the camera, and if you can't get it that close to the machine, and I can't hold it with one hand and do this with the other hand, I need two hands to do this. So just bear with me and we'll get it done the best we can. So what I did is I've chambered the barrel, I checked the headspace as I went, I creeped up on it, I got a measurement that said I needed 17 thousandths more headspace. That means depth on the reamer. So I set up and I went in 15 thousandths. I left myself 2. I put the action on. I checked it with the go gauge, and the go gauge would not close, which I was planning on it not closing. But just to make sure and be on the safe side, like I said, you can always take more out, but you can't put it back in there. I set it back up and I went in 2 more thousandths. I went to that number 17, which is what my depth mic told me I needed. And I put the action back on and I checked it with the gauge, and this time it worked perfect. So we've got a bolt, we've got a go gauge. This comes from Pacific Tool and Gauge. I bought this one in '09. So I've taken the ejector out of the bolt so we can put this in, clamp it, clip it, whatever you want to say, right here into the bolt. We're going to slide that in, push it all the way forward, and the bolt closes with just a slight resistance on it, but it closes right down. We don't want this thing to be too tight because we want to shoot factory ammunition. We want to be able to get anything off the shelf if we want it and be able to shoot it. Now I plan on hand loading for this gun if I keep it. I am building this for myself. The last time I built one for myself, I sold it before I ever got to shoot it. So hopefully I'll keep this one around. I want a truck gun, something I can go over to the farm, and if there's a groundhog or a coyote or something out that I want to shoot, I can just pull it out and shoot the daggone thing. So anyway, here is a go gauge, a no-go gauge, and it's painted red. So green means go, red means don't go. So this one should not go. So if we slide that up into the chamber and try to close it, you can push as hard as you want to, it ain't going to close. But that's what we want. That's perfect head spacing for this gun. Now I always buy a go gauge and a no-go gauge for every caliber that I buy. Alright, that's enough on that subject. Let's get on with finishing this chamber reamer. We're going to take the action back off. I'm going to polish the reamer. I'm going to put a little chamfer right on the edge, break that sharp corner, and we're going to flip this barrel around, cut a crown on it, cut it off. It don't get a muzzle brake on this one. This is going to be an easy job. So we're going to have this finished up tonight before I go to bed. Okay fellas, there you have it. The chamber is polished, sanded, smoothed, deburred. The leading edge is nice and smooth. You can run your fingernail across it and you don't feel it shaving your fingernail. That's something else you want to make sure that you smooth that down. Put a little, I use a chamfering, I use a carbide boring bar, again, same one I used to cut that bolt bore the countersink for the bolt nose. And I put that on 45 degree on my compound, and I cut a little chamfer on there. Then I'll take my sandpaper and I'll just kind of roll it on the edge. And what it'll do is it'll kind of radius that. Instead of having an angle, it'll be radiused. That's really the way you want that to turn out when it's all done. And you won't get any brass damage. It won't shave brass off as you're putting your shells up into the chamber. If you ever noticed, some of you guys got a rifle and every time you chamber it, you get a sliver of brass, or there's a big scratch down the side of the case. A lot of times it's because there's a sharp edge right there and you don't want that. So we've got this barrel done on this end. It's ready to come out. I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to flip it around. We're going to mark it, and I'm going to cut it, crown it, and we'll have this almost done. There you have it, fellas. The crown is done. We put a nice little recessed crown in there. I'm going to call that a field crown. It's not really a target crown. We don't have an 11 degree taper on it. It's 90 degrees to bore. Comes out all 100 thousandths, and then I've got about 100 thousandths taper. That's a 45 degree angle, and then it comes straight across again with another nice little 45 across the edge of the barrel. Makes it look really nice. And we are done, ready to take this barrel out, screw it on the action, see what it looks like. Okay guys, it's done and put together. We've got a 223 Remington, practically ready to go test fire. We need to put a trigger in it and do some laser engraving, and I'm debating on whether I should Cerakote the barrel action black or leave it in a bead blasted stainless steel finish. You guys leave me some comments below. Let me know what you would like if this was your gun. Would you want the barreled action to be black or leave it stainless? Comment below, tell me what you think, and we'll go from there. Maybe next weekend I'll do a Cerakote video, or we may take this out and test fire it. You never know where we'll be at by this time next week. So we started with a bench full of parts. The only thing left on the bench now is a screwdriver, and of course the dummy round, and 2 ink pens. I did learn that the spring I have in here is not going to work. This was a 308 spring, and I cut it down to make it fit, but the bend is in the wrong place. It won't allow me to load the cartridge. I wanted to load it and see how it was going to feed, but it won't allow me to load the cartridge. So we're going to have to go back to the drawing board on the spring. I'm going to have to call Wyatt's Outdoors again. I'll call them Monday, see if they got any springs in yet, what's going on with them, or what we can do. Worst comes to worst, I can put a detachable mag in this gun, which I thought about doing the first time around, but I wanted it to be snagless. You know, I just wanted it to be easy to carry around, easy to grab. I wanted to keep it in my truck, just leave it laying in the front seat when I go over to the farm, and if I, you know, just pull it up, throw it out the window, take a shot. It's a 223, so it's not good for killing much more than varmints, but in a pinch it would kill about anything you needed it to. So here it is, done. I like it. The barrel turned out to be 23.5 inches long, because I cut off some of this shank end down here to make it fit in my stock, and I wanted this thing as short and compact down here as I could get it to take away some of the weight. And I wanted 2 inches in front of the flutes where the flutes stopped. So had the flutes run out a little bit farther, I could have made the barrel 24 inches, or I could have made it 24, but it would have had more sticking out in front of the flutes, and I don't like a lot of barrel in front of the flutes. I like 2 inches. That's just what I like. I've seen some 3-4 inches long sticking way out there, and it just looks dumb to me, so I don't do that. And that's what we got. So rifle's done. I've got several rifles behind me here. If you guys can see some of these are all muzzle loaders. Most of them are for sale. I just put them on my website, hanksprecisiongunparts.com, if you all are looking for a smokeless muzzle loader. We've got about 10 of them. We just finished up the other day, so these are all done now and ready to go. They're in all price ranges, so whatever you want, we've got it. Check it out at the message on the website. I've got a 7mm Remington Magnum here that I'll be finishing up this week. That's going to be available. This is a 7mm Remington mag on Remington Action. It's basically almost the same build as this. Got a really small short shank. It's a number 5 contour fluted barrel. Got a little bastard brake on it. And we'll get this all done up by the end of the week. So anybody interested in this rifle, it will be available very soon. And I had a customer stop by today and he brought me this thing. This is an old Browning, I don't even know what model, A-bolt. It's a Browning A-bolt, and he wants me to put this Boss brake on this barrel. So we're going to cut the barrel down. He wants it to be the same length as this barrel. We're going to cut it down. That's probably about 20 inches on this barrel. So we're going to cut this down to 20 inches, rethread it, put this Boss brake on here. I tried to talk him into just putting on a normal brake. It would work better, get more recoil reduction out of it, but he wanted it to look factory. He had a gun like this a long time ago, and he picked this one up at a gun show, and he got this barrel off of eBay. So we're going to make it look like he wants it to look, and that'll be a project for one day next week. So anyway, fellas, I don't know how this video is going to turn out. I guess if you all are still watching it, you liked it. And if you're watching it, I liked it enough to put it on YouTube. So I got to get to editing it. That's going to take a while. It takes longer to edit than it does to make the video. I promise you that. And I try not to do much editing because we don't have a script. I said that once before. We don't go off a script. We just start talking. If we say something wrong, we just back up. It ain't no big deal. Sometimes you get to thinking about something and you say something else because you're already thinking about what you got to talk about ahead of time. So it's kind of like stuttering but backwards, I think. And let's see, we're going to edit this video and get it uploaded for you guys. Hope you like it. Let me know in the comments. Thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see y'all on the next one.